Guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, today's video is a little bit different than my normal videos. Usually I do like reading vlogs and stuff, which there is one coming very soon in the future, so very soon. Look out for that. But this is going to be a whole video of my go-to book recommendations. And if it looks like I'm squinting, it's because I am. It is snowy outside. So that means it is very bright. The sun is reflecting off the snow into my eyeballs, and I have very sensitive eyes. Maybe I'll put my sunglasses on for this. That might be better. Okay, so basically, today's video is going to be my go-to book recommendations from every genre. Okay, so it's not really every genre, but it's like the main genres. So today I'm going to be giving you recs for romance, sad romance, fantasy, and mystery. So now there would be a lot more, but I'm just giving you recs for the physical copies I have. I have read a lot from like my library, some that are not going to be included, but just know there are tons more. But let's get right into it. So we're going to start off with the section with the most books, which is romance. So, yeah, let's get right into it. First, we have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This is a football ballerina romance, friends to lovers. I read this back in April 2024. It was so good, I swear. So basically, follows Bree and Nathan, and Bree's a ballerina, and Nathan is a football player, and they have been best friends since I think high school or the beginning of college. I can't really remember, but I remember loving this so much. And I got my own copy for Christmas, so I'm going to reread it and annotate it soon. Read this book. It is so good. Then, one of the books that got me into reading, well, actually, I've always loved reading, but this, like, got me hardcore into reading, like, addicted to it. The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. It's still bright. Anyway, The Kissing Booth by Beth Reekles. This book, my cousin gifted to me, and I read it, and then I got addicted to reading. So, yeah, it's kind of like Wattpaddy. It's not the best, but, like, I really liked it, and I plan on rereading and annotating it soon. So, basically, it follows Elle. Is that right? Yeah, Elle, and Elle is best friends with Lee, and they have been since the day they were born. They're born on the same day, and their only rule in their friendship is you cannot date family members.
Editing the lane here. In that last clip, it sounded like I meant their rules were they're not allowed to date their family members. That is not what I meant. I meant they're not allowed to date each other's family members. I did not word that well. Alright, back to the video.
So, Elle likes Lee's brother, and so they start secretly dating, and it just goes from there. I love this so much. Yeah, so if you're just getting into reading, or you want to get into reading, I'd say read this one. Then, my all-time favorite book, this is the book that, like, after The Kissing Booth, I got this book and read this, and never gone back. This is my favorite book of all time. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. See the tabs? I've read this twice. It is so good. I cannot recommend this enough. I, like, tell people to read it in every one of my videos. So, basically, Liz and Wes were childhood friends, and now they're, like, enemies. They live next door to each other, and they fight over this parking spot. And Liz's childhood crush Michael comes back to town, and so she uses Wes as her in to get with Michael to go to prom with her, and yeah, it kind of goes from there. Liz, when she starts hanging out with Wes to get to Michael, she kind of realizes that Wes isn't so bad, so I don't know, this is my favorite book couple ever. Then the sequel to this, we have Nothing Like the Movies, which I can't really say too much about this, but if you like Better Than Movies, read this. It is on a whole nother level. I wouldn't say it's better, but it's definitely different, and I really enjoyed it because it added so much good story. Read this. And then there's also tons of novellas that go with Better Than Movies in between these two, so make sure you read those. You can read them on free. You can read them free on Lynn Painter's website and on simonteen.com. You just have to make an account. Then we have The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. She is my favorite author. I love every one of her books that I've read. Every one of her books I've read, I've loved it. So I just recently finished this on Valentine's Day. This follows Emily, and Emily, she has the worst Valentine's Day ever. And then she goes to bed that night and wakes up, and it's Valentine's Day again. And it keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And it was so good. It's definitely my least favorite Lynn Painter book, but I didn't dislike it at all. It was just the other ones were better. So then we have the whole Summer I Turned Pretty series. I read this in a span of 6 days. I read all 3 books in 6 days. They are so easy to binge, like so easy. I read this in the summer last year, and it's so good. Like, I don't know, it's so good, but like it's definitely better than the show. So if you are wanting to watch the show, I recommend reading these first and then watching the show. Yeah, I don't know. This follows Belly, and Belly has been going to her mom's friend Susanna's summer house since she was a baby. So she goes again when she's 15, and she had gotten her braces off. She doesn't wear glasses anymore. And then Susanna, her mom's friend's brothers, no, Susanna, her mom's friend's sons, which she grew up with, finally noticed her. And she's been in love with the one son, Conrad, but Jeremiah's also kind of, I don't know. Just read it. It's so good. And it's so summery. It gives such summery vibes. It's so good. You need to read it. I'm going to reread this summer because I think I'll read it every summer of my life. Like, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It's so good. Then we have The Summer of Broken Rules by Kale Walther. Oh, this book is so good, okay? This I also read last summer. I just recently got my own copy because I want to reread it. But this follows Meredith. And Meredith recently lost her sister, so she's very upset and just sad. But her family goes on a trip to Martha's Vineyard for, I think, her cousin's wedding. I don't know, but they play this game of Assassin, their annual game of Assassin, at the wedding, and she pairs up with this guy, and oh, you need to read it. It's so good. I am so excited to reread this. And then we have Betting on You by Lynn Painter. This is my second favorite Lynn Painter book. It is so good. I'm going to reread this soon with a buddy read with my cousin Liz. Go subscribe to her channel. She's newer to BookTube, but we are going to buddy read this. It's so good. It follows Charlie. It's dual point of view, so it follows Charlie and Bailey. Why can I not remember her name? Charlie and Bailey. So Charlie and Bailey both have divorced parents. They don't have like a very good family life. And when they're 14, they meet on a plane, and he is so annoying to Bailey. Yeah, but then they keep meeting like every couple of years. They keep seeing each other again. And then until finally they're like get to see each other like every day. It is so good. And Charlie doesn't believe in guys and girls can just be friends, so they're either not friends at all or they're dating. So I don't think I explained that well, but this is so good. You need to read it. It's her longest book too. It's like a little over 400 pages, I believe. Yeah, 420 pages. But every page was amazing. I think I read this in like 2 or 3 days. I don't know, but I flew through this. It was so good. I'm trying to think. I think there's more romance books. If I can think of them, I'll put them on the screen. Oh, I read For the Record by Emma Lord, which I got as an ARC. So that will be out August 12th, so make sure you check that out when it comes out. But this follows two rival bandmates. So they didn't date, but like they really, really liked each other. Then just some bad stuff happened and they were separated, didn't see each other for 2 years until the main character randomly falls into Sam's arms. I can't remember the main character's name. I don't know, but the main girl character falls into the male main character's arms randomly. This is dual point of view. It just follows them like reconnecting, and oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah, so make sure you pick this up when it comes out on August 12th, or you can go to netgalley.com and request for an ARC, which is where I got my ARC. So good. Okay, now we're on to our last part of romance, which is sad romance, which tends to be my favorite. I really like sad books for whatever reason. They like destroy me, but in a good way, you know? I don't know. But so first we have the If He Had Been With Me duology. If He Had Been With Me and If Only I Had Told Her. These books ripped my heart out and tore them to a million pieces. So basically, this book follows Autumn, and Autumn has been best friends with Vinny her whole life until they get to high school. They kind of like grow apart, and just tons of things happen, and it is so sad. Yeah, and then this one follows the aftermath, and it might have been even more sad than this one, so sad. Oh, I could cry over it now, but now this next book was my second favorite book of the entire year of 2024. Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This is the saddest book I've ever read. It's one of the best books I've ever read, which I just explained, but this follows Hazel, and Hazel has lung cancer. She had thyroid cancer and it transferred into her lungs, so she doesn't have much longer to live. She's just trying to live her best life for as long as she has left. And then she meets Augustus. She meets Augustus at support group, and he had cancer, but he's better now. And yeah, it basically follows her story. It was so sad. I read it in 2 days, and I like flew through it. It was so good, so addicting. I know this is like an older book, but I can't believe I didn't read it until now. But oh my gosh, it's so good. Pick this up now, please. Our next genre is mystery. So I am a mystery thriller girl. I love my mystery books, love my horror books. They're so good. But okay, let's get right into it. So first off, we have the We Were Liars duology. Now, this is like kind of mystery, sad, romance, kind of. Not much romance, but I love these books so much. Okay, this one follows Cadence, our main character, and she had an accident. She can't remember fully what the accident was. And she like has really bad migraines. She like pass out randomly, and like gets headaches so bad that she like throws up and stuff. All from this accident that she can't remember. And every year she goes to her family's island and spends it with her family and friends. But she didn't go this year because of her headaches and stuff. But then she finally decides to go back. And there's like this mystery that you have to like figure out. You're trying to figure out the whole book what actually happened. What actually happened in her accident. And when you find out, it's so sad. I sobbed my eyeballs out. One of the hardest I've cried over a book, honestly. It's so good though. It's set in summer, so I like to like read like summery books in the summer, wintry books in the winter. Like I wouldn't want to read a summer book now because it's so snowy outside, but that's just me. Then the second book follows one of the characters in We Were Liars' mom, and basically like what happened to her in this one of her summers when she was a kid. This was so good. This was like my third favorite book of 2024. It was better than the first one, in my opinion. So good. We have One of Us is Lying. This was phenomenal. One of the best mystery thrillers I've ever read. So basically, Simon, Bronwyn, Nate, Cooper, and Addie. Yes, we're all in detention. Did I say Simon? Yeah, Simon too. We're all in detention. 5 people, all in detention. And randomly, something happens to Simon and he dies. Right there. So, everyone's blaming these 4, the other 4 that were in the room, because obviously no one else could have done it because they're the only 4 in the room. So it basically follows them, and you have to figure out who's lying. Oh, I guess who did it. I hate when I guess, but like I always try and guess. I don't know. But this was such a good book. I have yet to read the other 2. One of Us is Next and One of Us is Back, but that is, One of Us is Next is going to be one of my next reads. Yeah, and then after I read this, I watched the show on Peacock, and that show was so good. They like kind of didn't follow the story as much as they should have, but I obviously haven't read the next 2 books, so I don't know. Maybe that is the story, but yeah, so good. Then we have 5 Survive by the queen of mystery thrillers, Holly Jackson. This is amazing. Look at the tabs. I buddy read this for a video, so go watch that. It was such a fun experience. So basically these 6 friends go on a spring break road trip, and stuff just goes wrong in their motorhome. They like break down, the tires pop, and then someone, it's so intense, but it's so good. It goes over the span of 8 hours, and then obviously you can tell by the title, only 5 of the 6 friends survive at the end. Oh, it's so good. And I read the majority of this in my motorhome at night with my friend, so that definitely made it creepier, but oh, it was so good. Such a good reading experience. Yeah, and then next, by the same author, Holly Jackson, we have The Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy with the novella short story. Is this upside down? No. So, these books are so good. These are my first mystery thriller books I've ever read, and they just got me. They got me so good. So basically, the first book follows Pip, and Pip is going to revisit a 4-year-old case that never got solved for her senior project, and about Andy and Sal, and Andy was murdered, and then Sal himself. So, everyone's blaming Sal for Andy's murder, so, but they never truly solved the case, so they don't actually know if that's what actually happened. So Pip goes in and tries to figure it out, and it's so good. And then these 2 follow 2 more cases, and this one's a prequel that you're supposed to read after, but definitely worth a read. Definitely worth a read at any time of the year. Amazing. And then the last physical copy of a mystery thriller I have is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. This was my least favorite Holly Jackson book, but I didn't dislike it. It was just very slow at the beginning. It was hard to get into, but once you get into it, you're into it. So this follows Belle. I can never remember characters' names. This follows Belle, and Belle's mom disappeared randomly when she was 2 years old. So it's 16 years later now, and they start a podcast called The Reappearance of Rachel Price, called The Disappearance of Rachel Price. And then randomly Rachel Price shows back up, and they call it The Reappearance of Rachel Price. And it's basically like figuring out if Rachel was where she said she was, or what actually happened. So very good. It keeps you on your toes. And then a couple more mystery thrillers for this were The Thrashers by Julie Soto. Oh my gosh, this was so good. I've never read something like this before. It's an arc. It'll be out. I'll put the date on the screen. I'm not 100% sure of the date. that'll be out. But I read this as an arc on netgalley.com. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So basically, this follows a group of friends. I can't remember the main character's name. Why can't I remember? Jody. So this follows Jody, and Jody is in a group of 5 friends called the Thrashers. And this girl, Emily, becomes a friend. Like, she thinks they're friends, but, like, they don't really like her. And then she randomly herself. And they get blamed for it, but, like, they didn't do anything. You think. But it's so good. Yeah, you definitely need to read this when it comes out. It is amazing. Also, in the sad romance category, I forgot to add this one. We have All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, I believe. I read this back in the summer, and it tore my heart out. But this follows Violet and Finch. Yeah, Violet and Finch. It's dual point of view. It is so sad. I don't really know how to describe it without spoiling it, but make sure you read this. Don't watch the movie. I watched the movie. It's awful. The movie is awful. But the book was so good. I loved it. Then for our last category, we have fantasy. First off, we have Shatter Me, which I would put it in the fantasy section, but it'd probably be more like a science fiction book, I think. But still, I think it's fantasy. But Shatter Me. Oh, I am on the second to last book of this series, and every single one of them has been so good and so hooking, except for the second one. The second one wasn't too good, but oh my goodness, it's so good. I'm buddy reading this with my friend Liz, with my cousin Liz. I keep saying friend. I mean, we are friends, but like cousins. I don't know. Okay, so this follows Julia has been locked up for 264 days at the start of this book, because if she touched someone, they'll die. They'll get hurt. They'll die, or they'll get hurt really bad. So they have her locked up in an insane asylum. So it basically follows her story from there. It is so good. I can't say much else without spoiling the rest of the series and this book, so you just need to read it. It's amazing. It's like, I don't know, it's really, really popular, and some people either hate it or they like it. They like it or they hate it, so there's no in between, and I love it. So next, obviously, we have Harry Potter. I've only read the first 2 books, but I've watched all the movies. I'm planning to finish the series this year, hopefully. It's just a really big time commitment because the books are so big once you get further in. So, yeah, but Harry Potter, if you don't know what Harry Potter is, you've been living under a rock. But basically follows Harry, and Harry lives under his aunt and uncle's stairs because his parents were killed when he was a baby. And then he realizes he's a wizard when he gets a letter to go to the famous wizard school of Hogwarts. It's so good. Yeah, I'm excited to read the rest in that series. Then, last but not least for fantasy, we have The Inheritance Games. So I have read these 5 books. I have not read the newest one, but soon. I think I'm going to reread the series first because I read it so long ago. But follows Avery Kylie Grahams, and she is dirt poor, okay? She's got nothing to her name. She has no money. She's living in her car. And then, randomly, this guy shows up at her school and is like, "You have inherited my grandfather's everything." So, like, she gets his property, his will, all his money, everything. Everything is given to her. And she's never met this man, doesn't know who this man is. And it follows that from there. This whole series is good. It kind of goes downhill as you go, but they are very good. This one's my favorite, second favorite, third favorite, fourth favorite, fifth favorite. I highly dislike this one. But this is like a separate series. It's like you wouldn't count this as part of this series. This is going to be its own separate series. But I can't really say anything about this without kind of spoiling the other ones, but they're all very good. I recommend them. I'm trying to think, do I have any more fantasy recs? I don't believe so. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Truly don't know how much I appreciate you guys watching my videos. 6,480 subscribers we're up to now, I believe. It's just crazy, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some book recs out of this. If the comments are on, which usually YouTube turns them off, but if they're on, let me know if you've read any of these books. If you're going to have any book recs for me, I'm open to hearing. I'm open to hearing your suggestions. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Ooh. That looks stupid.